What's up, everybody? Aaron Sheridan here, Senior Solutions Architect for a Bay Area cybersecurity company. Today we're going to talk about a technique that is known as HTML smuggling. So, I promised you I'd talk about it last time. So what this attack does is it actually allows somebody to drop a malicious file on your computer just by hovering over an object. That object can be an image, it could be a link, it could be just something on the page that your mouse just hovers over. So stick around if you want to see how it works. All right, as promised, here is an attack example of how just simply by mouse hovering over an object on a page, whether that be a link, an image, or any piece of the page, that there's a technique to drop malware on the endpoint. Watch this. Watch, this is no click. You see that? Let's do it again. All I'm doing is hovering over that object. So, you're probably wondering, how am I doing that? Well, let's take a closer look. But before we do that, don't have to take my word for it being a malware file. This is actually what's called an ICAR file. It's a test file that is designed to trigger when detected by antivirus engines. All right, just to prove to you that this is indeed a file that's being dropped that should be detected, go ahead and hit choose file. And there's the files I just downloaded by hovering. Let's just select any one of them. And you can see it's detected by all of these vendors here. So 59 out of 67 recognize this ICAR test file. All right. Now, to show you how elusive this technique is, if we go to VirusTotal and we look up the site and all of those vendors check that very same site, look what happens. Andy's free translator. Let's have it do the search. And you'll see it comes up with 0 out of 97. So out of all of these vendors, none of them are detecting that file, yet that file is malicious. And how are we doing that? That's what we're going to introduce you to. It's called HTML smuggling. So let's take a closer look at that, what that means. Let's go back to Andy's free translator. All right. So what's actually happening here, when I mouse over it, there it is again. Let's take a closer look. Let's view the page source. All right. The magic, so to speak, is happening at the bottom of the page. Let's go ahead and take a look closer here, and I'll call out the part of the script that does it. So this is where it all exists. All right. Let's go over these lines one by one. This little snippet is where all of our malicious code exists. This part of the script is where we're declaring the image as an ID to be referenced in the script. This ID will be our triggering point. This is effectively our listener event. It's looking for a specific event. In this case, it's the mouse over. The mouse over then triggers the remainder of the actions. This part of the script, think of it as a storage container. It's where we're going to store our encoded file, our file being our malicious file. It's encoded to avoid detection. It's using a simple encoding known as base 64 encoding. See the part where it says create element A? This is a function that's creating a new hidden HTML element. The download link href is telling it where to get the file from. In this case, it's telling us it's going to be data, and it's giving it the variable name of the data, stating that it's a stream that needs to be decoded. This is where it gets tricky. The part that says document body append child download link, this is adding that newly created link and adding it to the web page's main body, but it's just a temporary part of the page even though it's hidden from view. Followed up by the simulated download link click. It's a simulated user action. It's making an action without the user actually doing it. And then in the end, it's removing the evidence of that download link. All of that is happening in that mouse hover. There you have it, as promised. That is the delivery of a malware file, or potentially a malware infected file with just a mouse over. right? If you were to take that iCard test file and replace it with a true 0-day Adobe Reader exploit that was just created, what's gonna happen is when they mouse over it and it's a PDF, Adobe Reader is gonna open that file automatically and it's gonna exploit that system, and they're off to the races. So, although I used a test file in that scenario, it's the dropper technique that we are concerned with, and that's what I'm educating you on today. So again, my name is Aaron Sheridan. I hope you found this interesting. I'm gonna do as many of these videos as I can as time permits. And yeah, I hope you have a good day. Stay safe. Be careful what you click on and be careful what you hover over. So that's it. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend.